What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Christian Holy Try Football Podcast, Week 8 preview. It's me, AY Kennedy, the Beagles, the capital of the blue state, the Commonwealth, Pennsylvania, to my west, downtown, where it's all going down this weekend. Danberg, what's up?
Behind enemy lines, enemy of the podcast lines. Some thoughts that I gathered earlier in the week. Maybe feeling like this is a bit of a freebie with the win over the Irish, but I'm sure they're already covering their bases on that because they've got potentially cluster injuries, as they say. So we'll see. Already trying to nag a potential Penn State win.
Planting those seeds early, smart. Can, Far East, what's up?
I'm excited. I'm very excited. I won't dive in too deeply here today, but I might.
If there's ever a time to dive deeply, it is this slate because
it is this slate. It is this game.
We have.
I'm ready.
6 games to go through, and I'll probably have 26 words.
One for each letter of the alphabet. I'm excited, though. I'm excited to get back traveling tomorrow. We'll get back right before the game, so hopefully no delays. Delays may be even better, honestly.
Do you have Wi-Fi in the plane?
No Wi-Fi on the international planes. I'll be hopefully sleeping for a large portion, for about half of it, and then you hit the movies, right? But I usually in the past I've been able to hit up and do my Oscars catch up during that time, but I think I've got like Fast X and the Indiana Jones movie and a couple other ones on this one. It's a Taiwanese airline. Not that good, not that hard.
Okay.
Yeah, but weather's good over here. It's 87 degrees, 88 degrees. Does not feel like fall. Ready to get back.
Sure, good deal. Okay, well, we got week 8 on tap. Before that, week 7, tying up some loose ends from last week. Game of the week, was it did it live up? I suppose Oregon, Washington. That was pretty good.
I was happy as a rat about that outcome.
Yeah, I mean it played out exactly as you've called out since last year, Dan. That guy, he gambles.
He's reckless.
He's reckless. He's reckless. I mean, every commentator, everybody's giving him credit for it and said that's what he does, right?
Especially Kirk. He said it.
He said it all the time. He's like, "This is what got him here, so you can't fault it. This is the mentality. This is what he's coached them to do. This devil may cry attitude." And I mean, I know Dan, you can't stand it.
I stand for a lot of it. It's just the not kicking the field goal at the end of the first half when you were getting the ball. Like, I think there are more sensible decisions that can be made. You know, the controlled aggression would be a way to put it, which is probably the sweet spot for me. But this guy, and then, going for it, which I didn't see the play, but going for it on 4th and 3, as opposed to punting when the defense had given up to that point, one touchdown? Just one touchdown the second half. I would have taken my chances and had just stopped them. Just stuff like that. It's like, this guy's an idiot. So I don't. But the going for it throughout the normal course of the game, going for 2. I'm in favor of the majority of that decision making. It's not like I need to see 1980s football or 1970s football.
Yeah.
So
it was it's great to see. The defense definitely got stops. That goal line stop, I thought that was it basically. Dan Lanning said the defense was playing well, but you're never going to hold an offense down like that for too long, especially when I feel like unless the defense is completely dominating, when it comes down to that drive, you and they play the whole game, they have a good feel for what's happening. and they'll dial up exactly what they need. And you're not overthinking things. You're just letting it fly. And I mean, he let it fly two plays, and they got the end zone after that fourth down, right?
Yep.
What I've heard harped on is, how do you not have better plays here? It seems like the three plays that they just had no hope at all on the fourth down.
It's always the fly in the ointment.
Yeah.
It's always the fly in the ointment with these, analytics-driven decisions. Do you have the play for it?
Yeah.
It's like with the Chargers go through it. Feels like weekly.
I was
like you can't run the ball though, so you probably shouldn't play that way. You like with high percentage short yardage conversions, you don't have a threat. One of the two threats, you don't have one. So it's just hard to get behind that. And with Oregon, I know you said about what Kirk said. They're one of the bullies. Like if they were even Colorado, for instance, if they were to have been in a similar situation where they had overachieved by this aggressive decision, this hyper aggressive decision making, and you know what, they just said, this is what we're doing against whoever. But they're at such a talent advantage against a lot of other teams. I don't give them that much praise, frankly. Like that's what makes me so delighted is the bullshit that he pulled against Colorado. And I know because it was Dion, I know AY, you were fist pumping to that, but like you don't need to do that.
You're going to kill Dion.
Exactly. So I don't give him any. That's why I was super delighted by it. And going back to last year.
I got you. That was a great game. Most thinking it won't be the first chapter. It will be the first chapter. Sorry, not won't be. It will be the first chapter.
The chainsaw is humming, though.
The chainsaw is humming.
I don't know if that's.
If we want to stay in that Pac-12, another one team that figured to be in it dropping out, and Wazoo. That was very surprising. Fish signature win. I don't know how he did that.
And some.
Yep. What was the other? I mean, AY, do you want to go over your game against the Pac-12 team right now?
Yeah. I mean, it was
While
easy.
we're in the Pac-12?
It was easy. Yeah, I mean, I just credit the defense. The D's been good all year.
Yeah.
You have a big run to Ohio State there, that 62-yarder, two big ones against Louisville. But aside from that, I mean, you're going to give up a big play once in a while, but unless you're playing Penn State. But they'll take you their time and stuff it down your throat. But the D's been awesome. It was just great to just, get all those picks against Caleb Williams and the forced fumble, the kick return.
Yeah.
I think hidden in all of this is, it was 48-20, but the offense wasn't good again.
They scored all those points on like 20-yard drives.
They were all short fields. There was like two were in the red zone. One was at the 50. One was a kick return. One was a scoop and score. The other touchdown was like a 4-play drive that was a 46-yard touchdown to Tyree.
Yeah.
There was no 10-play, 75-yard drive here.
No, then they had less yardage than USC, right? Well, mainly because they didn't have as far fields to go. But
yeah, they had like 250. They only ran 49 plays.
Yeah, you can't roll up 80 yards when you're going 4 yards,
which
20 yards.
It's not, but still, I mean, even Notre Dame had a chance to completely just squash the game in the third quarter with two. It was 24-6.
Yeah, they kept hanging around with like 11-point margins.
They had the ball 24-6, 3 and out. Got to stop. Got the ball back 24-6, 3 and out again. Like you gotta at the very least get a first down on one of those two drives, if not points against this defense. Then it was 24-13. And I was like, okay, this is getting a little weird, but then 31-13, the big punt return, and turnover, then a kick return. I mean, glad it was this game where these weird breaks and defensive eruptions and everything comes down because it's USC, so screw them. But I mean, still 8 games through the season, and the offense has backtracked Luckily, no offense, Dan, but I mean, Pitt shouldn't need to score that many. You don't think?
No.
Wake, you shouldn't have scored that many. Stanford shouldn't have scored that many. Clemson, figure out, muck
Just
it
don't
up.
get up 29-0 on Stanford.
Yeah, true. And Clemson just muck it up, but that's a bye week. Get some rest. Maybe reset a little bit. But yeah, it was good to. I mean, USC we knew they were fraudulent, but we thought maybe they would lose a shootout.
Yeah,
Didn't think
and they
offense.
lost in a game where their defense held, quote unquote, held
Mhm.
Notre Dame to less yardage than they did. And I mean, you can't blame it on the defense. Caleb looked
No.
absolutely horrendous through as many interceptions as he had all of last year in the first half, right?
Yeah, I mean, credit to the defense too. Notre Dame actually they got home this year. Last year was his Houdini-ness was so frustrating. This time they brought him down. It was like 6 sacks.
Yeah.
It was good to actually wrap him up. He got away a few times, but
Well, they got away a few times and then threw them to you. So what would you rather have, the sack or the interception?
Yeah. So whatever. It looks good.
And you guys saw the double down from his father now this week, or at least coming out of their camp this week, right?
Oh, unbelievable! It's just
the worst. Absolutely the worst.
He's rapidly the mercury here is approaching LeVar Ball.
Oh my god, this guy approaching. I think it may be. I don't know.
That's because he's not putting videos out there everywhere.
Yeah, at least they're not doing that.
When's the shoe line come out?
Yeah, this is just back channel in here, but it's more the fingernail, the finger paint, not finger paint, the nail paint line is what's going to come out.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, now I guess the only thing left for me and against them would be
nail polish. Oh my god, I don't know. I could not think of the word.
The only thing I guess, I mean, obviously they're going to lose again and probably again, but I guess the final cherry will be when he goes not number 1 overall.
Oh man, that would be something.
Drake May,
Drizzy May, or hell, Marvin Harrison. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
Who knows who trades up or what? But if that happens, oh man.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Well, AY sitting fat and sassy after a nice victory. Dan, are you ready to finally be able to do that this year?
Let's just clarify.
First FBS win.
I am very excited with the win, but the offense
it wasn't still gross.
Lost and all that.
Not quite
you know
fat.
what? Screw it. Let's just forget about it. Yeah, let's just enjoy it for the week.
Enjoy
Dan,
it.
We did see this coming.
Let Dan revel a little bit.
Oh, very, very little. It was well documented while really going back to the offseason. I think I may even called out Louisville. So they, just finally turned into a pumpkin. You're welcome, America. You won't have to deal with another TCU situation. Three card monting their way into the playoff and potentially the national championship. They just, they're not a good team. And Pitt took advantage of some mistakes. Louisville did not really had a chance to break their will with Pitt getting the ball 3 and out, which included a worm burner snap. And then Louisville goes down, scores a touchdown immediately. Thought, oh boy. And fortunately, it was pretty rosy from there. I don't know if the drive for 6 is on per se.
Another very winnable game this week.
The line that comes to
Also
mind
this
is
week.
Those are the ones that keep you coming back because this team refuses to go like 2-10, 1-11. So there you have it. That's weather was not great.
I mean, as a Penn State
it was
fan,
diehards only. Once again, it was diehards only night at the stadium.
Yeah,
Party RR. That's the automatic deflection to, but actually doing something good. Look at the empty seats. Hilarious. Heard of it. Nonplussed by it, frankly. But
not impressed. Dan's not impressed.
The tricky part is from here, what will the coaching staff do? Do you just embrace the youth movement and say this is a building block still play as many guys, or they try and, which I thought they might do by starting Phil Dracovic in this game even, do they still take it all the way to the end of, what will ultimately be a 6 or 7 loss season at minimum?
Wait, they started trying. Phil in this game? I didn't even see
No,
that.
I'm saying I thought they might do it.
Oh.
No, Veyer.
Yeah, I was going to say,
he had a couple Veyer bombs.
Which I'm not. How did
it
he do?
It was hilarious. I had a few people text me, and I just kept saying McSorley 2.0, and I don't know if they knew how to take that because they didn't know how I felt about McSorley. I would gladly take if he was McSorley 2.0. What reminded me was that he had 2 deep passes, which were far and away his bright spots, and then the intermediate stuff not so much. Maybe it'll come in time over the rest of his career. So, but it'll be interesting to see whether they try and play, a wider range of players to get them experience, and what really is just a building towards next year type situation. But what I said, I was even kind of surprised, or I wouldn't have been surprised if they started Dracovic in this game and said, all right, we're taking this all the way until we lose 6 or 7 games, and then we'll go into that mode. Now it's kind of like, yeah, you're not going to make it to the ACC championship, definitely an underdog to get the 6 wins in a bowl game, but how does the staff handle that? That's kind of where we're at with things already in the 2 weeks into October. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was good. I mean, there was some discourse in the lower section, which I thought was funny. I got a chance to call them cookie dough eating weenies. I said I told at halftime a couple of Louisville fans, you guys are going 8-4. Whenever there was some barbs being exchanged between, not me directly, I was not in the crossfire. I was just within earshot. I just turned around and said that. I was like, you guys are going 8-4. Relax. So,
yeah.
No credit to Louisville. No, I do not do the Pat Narduzzi. That's a good football team every time, whether they win or lose.
Well, congratulations. Nice victory.
Yeah.
You did blow the load. Hopefully, I'm really hoping you still have some load left for Florida State.
Florida State and Notre Dame fans can breathe a sigh of relief as the super weapon that was its one discharge of the season. I would have to imagine.
It was engaged. It was deployed, and it was nice.
Yep.
Penn State won by a lot. Okay, there's that one.
Okay. And we were wrong. We were all wrong about the Jim Franklin dog whistling.
We were
not to lay the line. He did not disappoint. He extends his record to whatever pointless record it is against as a favorite or whatever. So.
Trying to think of what else I even watched last week.
I'm looking at the games. We could talk. I mean, that Tennessee Texas A&M game was gross.
At one point,
Jumbo, is he done?
Who
is Jumbo done?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. See what they do with him. 64. I saw. Is it $64 million buyout?
Yeah.
After the season,
who are they going to get? Prime.
That would be hilarious.
He's got to go to either there or Miami, right?
Yeah, if they find a way to fire Cristobal's with cause for that.
There's no way. There's no way they're firing Cristobal. That won't happen. I don't think. He's year 2. You don't fire him after one game, or after one really bad decision. But and they're building the recruiting well. I don't think they'll fire him.
I think that was a tongue in cheek. But
Right. The question with Jimbo is, if they don't fire him this year, like what does he have to go next year? Like, there's no point in keeping him next year. It's not like the buyout goes down by that much. It's like a couple $1 million. If you're going to fire him next year, why not just do it this year and get it over with, right? What's the point of continuing to hang on here?
Well, I see that, but where are they going to go? Who are they going to get?
Yeah, that's the question. And
I would answer that with
they have the unlimited pockets. They have unlimited pockets. Why can't I saw some amazing posts on their message board about Kirby and why can't they go after Kirby? Kirby's done all he can do at Georgia. They've got a high quote unquote higher ceiling for building a dynasty at Texas A&M. I was dying.
So wasn't there a post on there today?
I can't.
Too much
I
farting?
can't. This needs to go. This
too much
season needs to
farting.
end.
Too many
We need to
grades.
get to the playoff already. I can't take this stuff. I hate all those guys. I literally hate all that. It's amazing. I need to really
I love
bite
it.
my tongue as best I can. It's unbelievable.
But yeah, I mean the offense looks terrible. Granted, yes, they're on their backup quarterback, but like, how much of that game did you guys see any of that game? They
I did
cannot
not.
protect him for shit, and he's just running around. He looks like I'm trying to think of who he looks like back there, but he's lefty. It's not a strong arm, so it's just like, yeah, he needs every ball to be perfect. It's gross to watch.
Max Johnson.
Yeah, Max Johnson. He's gross. Yeah, Jumbo, I quite the fall from when I called him the best play caller in college football in 2017, I think maybe.
It can
16.
go. It
He
can
had a
go
good run
quickly.
before that, so I mean, maybe it was right.
Maybe at that point, but it has gone. It is certainly gone.
He's the Greg Roman of college football.
Yeah. K-State, my lock coming through. Good victory.
Yes. Who did I do? I didn't win.
You locked up NC
It
State.
was NC State with the backup quarterback at Duke. Oh my god.
Yeah, not good.
Doran.
And now, I mean, Duke's got I think it's a primetime game against FSU.
believe
That'll be
so.
interesting. Wyo did
what?
keep it close.
Oh gosh, yeah, heartbreaker.
Yeah.
And that would have been a heartbreaking cover or lack of cover because I think they turned it over late and the Ass Force did not thankfully did not punch it in. Yeah, I did. I caught that. Yeah, that was tough. They were up. I think were they up 27-20 and lost 34-24 or 34-27 rather.
Yeah.
Tough.
Got
Got to get back on that horse. Pun intended.
Speaking of Cristobal's wheels coming off after halftime. They were up. Just the turnover luck is unbelievable. That was the first drive. I think they fumbled in the end zone. Just terrible. And then all the turnovers in the second half. Are you buying in on UNC is the question.
I did. I would say, well, we're the only intercontinental college football podcast, but I did. What was that? Was it the week they played Georgia Tech? I can't remember last year. Whenever I was like, oh, don't forget about, Clemson, North Carolina only have one loss in the ACC. They could fire in that champion if they were 12-1. That didn't work out. So I'm treading lightly, and we'll see what happens.
I like them. If they play Florida State, I think I might take them. I would take them.
I like him in the context of
in the context of
ACC title.
yeah.
You put them in the playoff. I think they don't cover 20.
Wow.
I agree. I think
I just think it just got out of hand.
Yeah. We were all on Stoops and we were all on Chip. We mentioned the Beavers before.
Yeah.
Showing us.
I had.
Dante, go ahead.
Did any of us have the Beavers?
No, that's what I'm saying. We were all on Stoops and we were all on Chip.
Oh, okay.
We all lost.
Yeah.
That didn't work out at all.
Dante Moore with this third consecutive week, it might have been more, honestly, of a pick six. This again at the end of the half, that was hilarious. And then Stoops taking it on the chin, the drink, back up to number 20 now. Building a nice season for them. So, yeah, great stuff.
Or are they waking up the echoes of 2014, 2013?
Yeah, the double SEC championship. If they were in the Big Ten West, they would be going to the championship game. But I don't know about this year with Georgia. We shall
Yeah.
see. They'll get their shot at them soon. Georgia, we did not mention at the top. News and note. The major one, I think, coming out of last week was
Yeah, Bowers.
Bowers.
Oh no,
having-
one of their 45 5-stars has an issue.
Well, that's the thing is, all those other 5-stars aren't doing shit on offense, at least.
I hope they lose for the next 4 games.
Next 4, wow, that's a lot. But the thing is, all 4 of those teams can get them. I mean, you look at the way Auburn played against them, and that was with Brock Bowers. There's no reason to think any of the next 4 teams can't get them. So, I mean, I think I don't know which one it'll be, but it would not necessarily surprise me if they lost one of them, which would be nice. So we can set up the 1-2 after Penn State beats Michigan this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Hilarious. Oh my god.
All right. Well, that was a good weekend though. Let's I think we spent longer on this recap than we used.
We did. Fortunately, because I proclaimed I have 26 words.
Oh, look at the rising.
We have a surprise guest. It was
All
the
right.
loud laughing to the Penn State reaction.
It was. Oh man. All right. Let's dive into this week.
Well, I do our one news and note.
Did we lose Dan on that?
Shane Beamer broke his foot.
I'm here.
Oh, I lost. You guys lost me on that. It's too much moving on the computer.
Did you hear my news and
Shane
note?
Beaver, yeah, Shane Beaver breaking his foot and bitching a ton before as well.
Yeah, if I wasn't taking my lock this week, which I'll share later, it would be Missouri over Scar.
Oh yeah.
Can you steno?
I'm stenoing. Yes, I am
all right,
able to use the Google apparatuses now here in Taiwan.
Good.
All right, I'm ready to go. We're Air Force making their debut in the top. Is it the debut or they were there?
Well, last week we had them. They weren't the feature.
Last week, sorry.
Wyatt was the feature last week.
Maya was the feature. Navy is gross. Are you gonna give
right,
some? Are you gonna take some magic here?
No, blowout city.
Blowout City. Okay, they won't show their brothers in arms any
No,
compassion.
absolutely not. I also want to point out that I know it's isn't the closest game here, but we're picking on our slate an Air Force game before we pick a Michigan game this year.
Wow. Wow,
So take that, Ocker.
take that Hawk.
And
Hawk admitting, last time I saw
a
Ocker-
spite.
Last time I saw Ocker admitting that he's got some shred of fanhood for Penn State in him.
That would make sense. I mean, that'd be the only thing about his fandom that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's saying that he's got friends that are Penn State fans, so he wants them to be happy. So that's when he would root for Penn State.
That sounds like Ocker, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because Michigan's made the playoff the last 2 years. I'd be curious if he
Maybe. Yeah, yeah.
if he
He's
didn't feel that, if he didn't feel that way. If he felt
he could-
that way a couple years prior.
a little patronizing of him, right?
Oh, a little.
A little. Sitting fat and sassy there. We'll see. And then 1 versus 2 matchup in a couple weeks.
Well, I'm taking Navy to cover.
Yeah, I was thinking. Actually, I don't know about that.
Haven't they turned? I mean, obviously,
My initial thought was yes, some pride here in a Commander in Chief's game, but it's the first one, right? This is the first Commander in Chief's game.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Two game winning streak.
Yeah, I'm going Air Force as well, though. Here, Navy is gross. Rebo, I think going to get some breakfast.
As long as he gets back in time for TCU Kansas State.
Yeah. Tennessee, Alabama, the third Saturday in October. Tennessee showing some good run defense. Alabama, they are the Big Bills offense. They don't. Milroe, I don't think throws short. He only throws. We didn't talk about that game. The Pitman going through a gauntlet, coming back from 24-3 or 24-6 down to make it a game, almost catching them there at the gun. I mean, Alabama just isn't. They're not zombie Alabama, that's for sure. Do they remind you of like the 2014 Florida State team, or obviously they never lost in the regular season?
Exactly, yeah.
They kind of remind me with how gross their offense is of 2002 Ohio State team maybe. But that defense
don't be stealing my reference. Really... Don't be stealing my material, Ken, for later in the podcast. Come on. Don't be stealing it. But I've got Bama. I've got Bama that feels very similar to the Ole Miss game, to which I had.
Yeah.
Miss. So I feel like there's a lot of similarities between Tennessee and Ole Miss, and I expect.
Yeah.
Maybe a tad more high scoring, like 20.
Yeah, and I think you got some revenge on the mind here for the Bama faithful. They'll be
absolutely.
They'll be out for blood, and so I like a 2-touchdown win here. I think the defense will come out fired up, and it'll be like a 20, maybe just under 2 touchdowns. I'll go 24-13 win.
Yeah,
Cannon Dan on Bama.
I'm with you guys. Yeah, I like Bama too.
Bama.
I'm rooting for.
I think the number is a bit high, but I think it was still steal line from Roth the other day. Tennessee ain't good.
Yeah, which he did reverse Fields on a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think they are. They're no, but I don't think Bama is really built to blow people out lately. But the defense is so nice. So give me a 11-point win.
All right.
TCU K-State.
Bebo's not back in time.
See, I don't like when you put these games on here. I've vented about this in the past. This is such a tough one because it's like both teams looked impressive last week, but they both looked like ass at separate times during the season. And what are we picking this at again? What's the line?
7.
Like that is such a tough game to pick, and I'm going to work 17 seconds of this game.
That's why I put it on. That's why I put it on.
I know. I'm noticing a theme here. So I'll get out of the way here. I will take TCU to cover because I don't know what else to do.
I could see like a 6-point win for Kansas State, like 27-21. I really could.
And is Will Howard out? I feel like he didn't play.
No, well, yeah, I think it's on. They're on to the Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson. Era now. He had 5 touchdowns running last week. So he was some had him a 5-star, but mainly a high 4-star guy. Moving on to him quickly. Who knows? We'll see. Kansas State may have found a spark there with that freshman quarterback, though.
When's the last time a K-State quarterback started at least 10 games in the season? It had to have been like
Jake Waters.
Or L. Roberson.
I'm
going K-State here by 8.
Ooh.
All right.
It's going to be a fun game.
That'll happen.
A weird game.
I should have waited. I should play back at you and wait for you to give your pick and then just mirror it when you pull this sorcery game. And like I don't want to. I when we pick these inconsequential games, I play checkers. Like I look for something real quick and then move on. But there's no checkers play with this, so we'll see what happens.
I think I'm gonna go. You guys won't let me pick the push again.
Oh yeah, we forgot. Yeah, the picks contest is over. AY has the lead. It is over though because Ken accurately predicted a push in the Washington Oregon game, but we wouldn't let him. So it's over. Congratulations. Don play.
I will. I will go with our. This one's so hard to pick. You're right, Dan. I think TCU needs some pride here. They have not been good, so I will take them to lose by 6 here with the HP.
All right.
Okay.
Don returning from his hiatus. Good to see you, Don.
So
I was just about to say, hey, Dan,
WTF
Don,
is
where's
up.
Don been at?
We're all up this week because all our teams won.
Yep.
Duke,
Look at that
Florida
picture you
State,
got this time.
14
Good beard.
point line.
Good beard going.
There's a little Santa Claus there. 14-point line, FSU. Obviously, the main question here is Riley Leonard's availability and health.
I don't think he'll be back for this game. Number seems like they also expect him not to be back. I don't know. I think with him out, it'd be tough. Obviously, people were buying low on them, or not buying low on NC State and quarterback out last week, and that didn't pay off. Namely, on this pod, but
somebody, some idiot
somebody
did
was.
that. I'm trying not to swear, by the way. While you're figuring out your pick can, I have to interject. I was commenting how some of our videos are not available when I look on the desktop version. It's because the laptop I go on, if it's on a work network, it automatically goes to restricted mode, which means some of our videos have been flagged evidently. So that restricted mode, I guess it's for mature audience if it's off.
Wow. We've got
flagged by the boob tube. Me saying boob, just flag this one.
Boob. Don, if you had listened to me, you would have known not to play Texas State. If you were on last week, you would have known.
Me.
Yeah. Yeah. The Cats.
You should have listened to AY because he's about the best pick.
Yeah. But FSU Michael, I think I'll roll with FSU Michael here. Duke hasn't been in the top 15, I think, since like 1961. Unfortunately, I don't think they get there at least this week. I think it'll.
I'm with Ken.
I want to pick the 14 is just so many points. Again,
you don't even need to push pillars, Ken. You need to save in case you guys lose this week.
Exactly.
Actually, frankly, even then you won't need to push pillars.
Yeah, I don't need to push any pillars if they win this week. At this point,
I think even if they lose, but we won't haggle over that.
Well, yeah, we need a little more. I think we need a little more pillar pushing if we do lose.
All right.
I'll go Florida State here to cover.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm on Duke. If Leonard plays, this is
the Lenhard
a field goal game. I think maybe it's just a ton of respect here for Elko and that defense, but they're gonna make this thing close. If he doesn't play, well, it's gonna be tough, but they'll cover. We're not gonna know until the obviously game day. It's college. You get reports. Elko's more straight up, a lot more straight up than some of these guys are. But
yeah,
he'll have them ready. Won't be easy, but 14, I'll take him.
Yeah.
Oh man, this game, USC Utah. Tar still no offense. Disgusting. Rising, I don't think is supposed to be back yet.
I'm done asking about him. I'm just going
he just
against
showed the whole year.
Turn.
Yeah, he might be back for the bowl game. USC here, smarting after that shellacking in South Bend. Listen, I and the number reflects it here. I think you're going to get a motivated team, somebody that's been working hard, especially against a team that they lost to twice last year. There are only 2 losses aside from their bowl game. I'm going to go with USC here to cover the 6.5. I think Caleb, especially after a terrible game he had last week, and now playing for some ownership of an NFL team, will come out and have another vintage Caleb game. And I like USC here by 2 touchdowns.
I was on Utah this morning. I think I switched now. They did lose them twice last year. They did look
double
like
revenge.
Double revenge.
Complete crap last week, and Tar cannot move the ball.
They cannot. I see where your head is.
I'm going USA.
Wow, SOS. He's looking for the SOS.
All three of us
it.
on the Trojans.
Trojans are still good. Even if they win this week, they still will probably end up with 3 losses out of their 12 games.
Because Tar is down there. They're like 5th or 6th in the Pac-12.
Yeah, Tar's So give me USC this week. Prop themselves up, keep themselves relevant for another week.
Yeah,
somewhat relevant.
Yeah. Now this one is gross.
This is a game here.
This is a game. This is 2 4-2 teams on ACC Network at night. 2, dare I say, desperate teams. Would you categorize them as desperate?
No, I'd say they're hungry.
Hungry. Desperate to eat.
I would go with dejected.
Don, you're saying which way do you think it's going to move that 6.5 for USC?
I think it moved to 7 earlier, so
yeah, it was 7.
Yeah, I would say it's going to get USC is going to get some, unless this is the week where Rising's playing, then it'll probably go down to like 5.
Yeah. Which I don't even know. I mean, what would you even do with like a semi-hobbled, just getting back in his game?
If Rising was cleared, it went down to 5. Then I think you just double down on USA.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't even know, especially with that offense. Like, he's so predicated on his legs as well and running, and who knows what would happen if he's in there with a hobbled leg. But yes, we had already moved on. You getting 2.5 points. It's down to 2.5 now? I thought it was like at 3.5 before 4. I bet it at 4 yesterday, actually. So
I put these on the sheet 2 days ago, so I haven't changed them since.
It's at 3 now, I see, everywhere.
Do you want to switch to 3 on the sheet?
Yes, I can switch it to 3 on the sheet. It is
key number.
Key number. Maybe picking the
push.
The push again, but I will not because I've got. Well, I mean, the push would be a win for me. I got it at 4 last night.
Yes.
Through my bookie here in Taiwan. I'm gonna. Yeah, I bet it. It's one of the few that I bet for next week, and I'm taking Miami with the points. They've lost 2 in a row here. They've had turnover luck that's been bad, and so I will take them to bounce back here. The one thing giving me pause: Clemson coming off a bye. Disgusting game against Wake last 17-12. I think was the score of that one. So
yeah,
I think Miami at home. That home field advantage in Hard Rock Stadium with a team coming off 2 losses. It'll be rocking. I'll take like I said, I'm taking Miami here. I've already bet it.
Miami here as well. Nothing to add. And I think this might be secretly Mike Brown. He's brought up South Florida multiple times on this thread. He asked about the Rice South Florida game. Now we've got a request for Con South Florida. I mean, I think we still are Con people. So
I couldn't
possibly give it by.
I'm not taking Con. Con got the first win of the. Are we picking the USF game? We are, right? No, not actually picking. I'm saying, is he asking for that game or does he talk about the Rice?
This is Don's crackpot game of the week. He comes with it.
We did not talk about USF UConn, but I'm not taking Con anywhere.
Can y'all talk about USF? Yeah, I'm taking USF. There, it's down to 1.5 on PointsBet. I think they'll bounce back. They had a horrendous game this past week against FAU. UConn coming in fat and sassy after their first win of the year against Rice. So I'm taking USF here to bounce back on the road. They just announced their on-campus stadium plans this past week. Mike Brown was not overly ecstatic about them, but again, excited about. He's content. I think he's fine with them. So,
but is he ecstatic about his tenant Elijah Cansey getting a sack?
I'm not sure if he's. I think it goes against his theory that he'll be bad. So he'll be a bust. So probably not enthused by that. I will go with USF, like I said. Again, not an official play yet. Maybe we'll get to it later.
I go Con. I'll go. Hey, why did you pick Miami Clemson?
Yeah, we're all in Miami.
Oh, okay.
We're all in Miami. Like that Georgia Tech game was incredible.
Amazing.
But I mean, on the road last week at Carolina, hung tough. Can't mention the turnovers. Look, yeah, I mean, do you think club's gonna take this show on the road? You got Dabo as presser today, whining again. God, shut up.
He needs some of that bandwagon to lighten up. It's hilarious.
I guess there's one thing left for Notre Dame. It would be just to make Dabo eat its clipboard this year, and that'd be nice. But God, he sucks. Yeah, game Miami. What do you think of Wisconsin? -2.5 over Illinois.
Thank God this one isn't on the slate. Holy heck. I like Illinois in that game, though.
That game is gross. Both teams are just take the under, whatever it is.
Yeah, quarterback out for Wisconsin, Mordecai. I don't know if we've gotten word on if he's done for the season, but it didn't look good, right? I'll take Illinois as well here. Burt getting off the mat, showing some life last week, and Penn State needs that SOS, so I'm going to Illinois.
We also need what is it? The SOS of the West opponents?
Yes, exactly. That's why that is why we need Illinois here. Iowa taking care of business last week, doing their part. Iowa, we did not talk about that game. Oh my gosh.
That's okay. We can save it. We gotta get. I'll give. Can I just do my pick real quick here in 5 seconds?
Yeah. Do the pit pick. Go ahead.
As I said, I'm skeptical about the drive for 6 being on. So I will go with the Woke Forest.
I'll go with Woke
in a 21-17.
Yeah, I know we had that little awkward breakup with Pitt a few weeks ago, and then I texted him last week and said hello again. I think I'm going to try and hold strong here, so I'm going to go Wake Forest this week.
Yeah.
If Pitt wins this week, though, then I might show up with flowers next week.
So we're all on Woke. We're all on Woke. And we're here. This is what we've been waiting for, right?
Not really.
Would you call it the game of the year?
Is it the game of the year? No, can't. It's again.
I think it's the game of the year. What other game matches up to this? The Notre Dame, Ohio State?
I would say last week the Washington Oregon was the game of the year, because that actually, these teams might lose one more time. The loser of this game. So I don't know.
All right.
I think they both, irregardless of the result of this game, both teams have very high floors going forward.
Very high floors going forward. 10-win basement, 10-win bed, right? For both.
I would think so, yeah. Based on what we've seen.
I would hope so, which I'll get to in my preview. I would hope so.
Yeah. Well, what's your preview for this game?
Of this game, yeah.
Oh,
I have some thoughts on it.
You liked it. Don Play liked it from Dan Lanning. Dan.
Oh, Don, just rewind to the beginning of the podcast. We covered this already.
Yeah,
I like some of them. I like some of them, Don. I'm halfway with you. But
Don, Dan has hated his devil may cry attitude for over a year now.
Yep.
It's he said it would bite him, and it did. Dan Nostradamus over here. But okay, so every once in a while, I won't dive too deeply here into Ohio State, Penn State, but I'll just touch on a few things. Penn State has built their team, as has been discussed on this podcast ad nauseum over the last couple of years, with Ohio State in mind, matching up, and especially now with a fast attacking aggressive defense. You see it much more aggressive than when Pry was heading it up with the Dias now. That They've got a lot of speed out on the field. They're not as interested in being as conservative, which is really a big departure, I think, from Fry. They're bringing blitzes, exotic blitzes, and playing with smaller linemen that are more apt to shooting gaps and trying to make big plays in the backfield, which could, they're gambles, right, when you do that. They do give up the big play every now and then, but Penn State has not. And I think that's, at least as of this year, they have not. It's kind of more of a, unless you count that Delaware run.
Which we saw on this pod.
Yeah. On the cock. We saw that on the cock. Penn State has built this team and has talent at all three levels on the defense. I think they match up really well, and at not just all three levels, but across the board. I think position group by position group, you probably give Penn State the nod, which is something that you've never been able to say in this, dare I say, rivalry the last, 20 years, right? Penn State's lost 6 in a row since that 2016 victory. Ohio State coming into this game with a ton of injuries, which is contributing to that nod that I mentioned in many position groups. I really honestly would take Penn State's overall groups. I think all of them except for wide receiver, right? Penn State's running backs looking good right now, despite the lack of big play in the passing or the running game. The running backs are able to grind out 4 or 5 yards, and they've really been able to march down the field on all their opponents, which again could be a product of their opponents. But they have done it against some good defenses, namely Iowa. Obviously, Iowa's lack of offense contributing to how tired their defense eventually did get, and what Penn State was able to do wearing them down. But you have an offense that wants to take what you give them. Drew will happily check it down and take 7 yards a clip, which is what obviously we've seen, and they're out there scoring now, but just not fast enough for the liking of some Penn State fans. And Ohio State's defense, Knowles has come in with a reputation of being aggressive and maybe risking a little too much, and he's dialed it back this year after some of the mishaps that he had at the end of last year, right, against Michigan and against Georgia. So you've seen a little more of a dialed back approach from him. He's playing with 3 safeties, and I think that may be that secondary may be the strength of the team, though you're dealing with some injuries now. I mentioned before, Denzel Burke on crutches. Franklin might have had a plant there in Purdue this past weekend because somebody on the board said he was on the sidelines for that Purdue game and said he saw it wasn't shown on TV, but Denzel Burke was on crutches leaving the field. The defense and the secondary, they had some issues last year. They kind of shored them up. It looks like they've shored them up. They haven't let anybody beat them over the top this year, really. And I think that'll be interesting because Penn State really doesn't have too much of a passing game to speak of, aside from Keandre Lambert-Smith. Obviously, we got number 6 back last week, Harrison Wallace, which is big because Penn State was really struggling without him, and it should help open things up, hopefully, right? Running game wise, I mentioned before, I think I would hope Katron Allen, if I was a Penn State fan, gets 2-1 carries. And this one with Singleton, he's in there much more reliable and has been playing really well. He's been making yardage and really running hard. So I think you'll need that to stay on schedule against an Ohio State defense that should be strong in the middle with their defensive tackles. But I have no concerns about the pass rush. We mentioned it before. Both defensive ends, JTT and Sawyer, played all 65 snaps on defense against Notre Dame. They've got no depth there at defensive end, and they haven't, even when they're fresh, been able to get any pressure. They're I think in like the 80s in pressure percentage, and so they got a couple sacks last week against Purdue, but I think other than that, they've been basically non-factors in the pass game for this year. So obviously you've got the projected top 10 draft pick in Olu Fashanu on one side, not worried about that. And Caden Wallace has been a pleasant surprise. He's been an unsung hero this year. I think if he does need help, you help him out, but you still don't think that there'll be too much of an issue from a pass rush perspective on the outsides. So I think Penn State should be able to do. It's funny. Ohio State doesn't want to give up the big play. They'll give you the long drive and the short dink and dunks, and Penn State gladly has taken that all year, right? And seems to be what they want to do on offense. With the defensive side of the ball, I think this is where Penn State really can make some hay. I think Ohio State's defense will have some wins. I think they'll be able to relatively hold Penn State down. I know Penn State's got that 30-point streak going. I don't foresee that continuing this week. I think it'll be a relatively low-scoring game. But Penn State's defense, I really, really like. They've been elite this year, obviously. Could be a product of who they played, but they've shut down basically everybody. They haven't allowed a touchdown or a point in Beaver Stadium in like 11 quarters. Obviously, they played the likes of Delaware and UMass at home, along with Iowa. I don't know whose offense is worse than any of those three, but the defense has played well. Ohio State, this is the big thing here. They're dealing with a rash of injuries. Even before the injuries in the backfield, they haven't had success. They're down 9th in the Big Ten in rushing right now. Mayan Williams, who played a ton last year, was co-starter with Henderson last year when Henderson was hurt, has not played at all this year. I don't know if it's doghouse or he's just regressed, but he had like 7 carries before and he's hurt now, but before that he had like 7 carries against Maryland, I think, and 6 of them were in garbage time at the end. So he hasn't played very much. They've been playing Trey Annam. Obviously, AY knows him well from the last play on defense for him in their game. He's been hurt also against Purdue, and then Henderson been out the last 2 games. I mean, he's warmed up in each of those games, and then eventually not played. I think he should be back. I think they've been holding him back for the Penn State game. And so they'll be back with him and probably Dalen Hayden, who they admitted to saying that he was planned to be redshirt this year because he can run the ball well but can't do anything else well. He doesn't catch well. He doesn't pass block well. But it sounds like they're going to be leaning on him because of these injuries. That's on a run game that hasn't done well. The line is not good this year by Ohio State standards. They had to go out and get the transfer from San Diego State. And with Penn State's defensive ends, I think that they're gettable on the edges. Penn State has had a trio of defensive ends that are very good, along with depth behind them. I like Chop to have some success here. Chop and Deny, along with Adisa Isaac, I think they'll bring some exotic blitzes and bring some people from the second and third levels. But I think Penn State will be able to get to them here. Yeah, I do not like that 4.5. That minus 4.5. If you're catching where I'm going here. Or you can hear how I'm talking. The wide receivers, this is where, obviously, I mentioned it before, Ohio State has the advantage, I think, over Penn State. Obviously, Penn State's passing game isn't that good.
You think?
I'm saying think because they are dealing with injuries again. Marvin Harrison Jr. has said he's been dealing with a more severe ankle injury than last year. It doesn't seem to have slowed him down. He's got over 600 yards. Egbuka didn't even travel to Purdue. It does sound like they were holding him back, and they do expect him to go this week, which is big for them. But how much is he at percentage-wise? We don't know if he'll be slowed. They have Fleming, obviously the pride of Central Pennsylvania. We'll see if they go to him. He's been able to produce when he's been called on, but he hasn't been called on that much. Slowed, we'll see. They had Carnell Tate, the 5-star receiver, out there as well this past week. But they seem to have really consolidated and focused on obviously Marvin Harrison, Egbuka, a little bit of Fleming, and then Stover, the tight end. So and they've got a deep wide receiving core, but really haven't had to go to it yet. Or I mean, had to is in quotes, right? I think they haven't really tried to lean on the passing game. Well, one, because McCord, they've got a first-time starter back there. But on top of that, I think it's the ego thing from Ryan Day. He's pissed at Lou Holtz still, and I think he's been running the ball to try to prove a point here. And they haven't had the success, like I've said, number 9 in the Big Ten, despite the efforts to do so. I think maybe it's ego. It's trying, not ego, but trying to improve on their deficient points, but in the back of their head, knowing that they can rely on and go to the passing game if they need to. Pressure will be a big factor here, and you got to make McCord feel this defensive front. Penn State's got the defensive backs to be able to compete with the wide receivers. I think that obviously Ohio State will win their fair share of the battles back there. You got to be able to move on from a rep that you lost and come back and play just as hard and be able to forget about it, put it out of your mind here, because Ohio State will definitely have theirs. It's whether Penn State will be able to come up with a play or not. I like, coming down to the prediction here. I do not like the -4.5. I like the +4.5. So much so that I've bet a decent amount, not a decent amount, but I will be betting a decent amount on the money line. I have already put in some money line before it's gone down. It was all the way down to 3.5 actually yesterday. It's bounced back up to 4.5. I see Penn State and Ohio State, like I said, in a dogfight defensively. I don't think it'll be too much scoring. I think the over-under's at like 48. I could definitely see something like a 24-21 game either way.
That's got to be the most commonly picked score this week.
Yeah. That gut-wise, that feels right. I think I might go a little bit above that, though. Or not above the 48, though, if it's still at 48.
So like
I like
24-17.
Yeah. I like Penn State here to win something like a 27-20 game. I think there'll be a big play here at the end, an interception that could be caused, or a fumble, strip sack from some of the pressure. I think Penn State will eventually wear down that offensive line with the looks that they'll bring and the consistent pressure. Penn State's got depth on defense. They haven't run a lot at all. I mentioned before and on this podcast, they played 30 total defensive plays against Iowa. You've been resting your starters in the fourth quarter for every one of these games. And so Penn State is fresh, I think. Ohio State is battle-tested. Obviously, they played against Notre Dame on the road and come out on top. They've had to play in some four-quarter games. And on top of that, they've got rep distributions like 65 all to 2 players on defensive end. I think eventually Penn State will be able to wear them down, and I think maybe a big play will pop finally at the end. But I like a 27-20 victory.
Would be good timing for it.
It would be good timing. They've been charging the super weapon. I'm taking Penn State here 27-20. I don't think it'll even be that close. I think it'll be like a 27-17 game, and Ohio State goes down and has to settle for a field goal on one of their last drives to cut it to 7.
Okay. I'll go 24-21 Ohio State. Just something stupid will happen. Not as stupid as how they lost there in 2017, but something. Basically, I wouldn't wish the way Notre Dame lost. I'm not going that stupid, but I feel like neither team will walk out of there feeling that good or feeling that bad. Does that make sense? Feeling that good or that bad? That's what I want to say.
Can you imagine if Penn State lost the same way Notre Dame did?
I cannot.
It would be terrible.
The only thing that make it worse is they were in green jerseys.
I would. This is sick, but I think I'd feel good. I'd be like, now you know. Now you know.
No, yeah, that's just. I mean, there's no. No, that's just sick. But you're the one that actually went through it, so I can't speak for you.
That would be
sick, but sick is in like bad sick, not sick.
To clarify. Yeah.
So
you're
that's
taking,
my take. I mean, this
so
is
O2
Ohio State.
This
is O2. This is O2 Ohio State versus O5 Penn State. How could you not follow those breadcrumbs that I laid for you?
Well, because this offense is 1,000 times better than O2 Ohio State. this Ohio State offense.
I
That
think
offense was.
I think McCord
absolutely-
is Craig Krenzel reincarnate. But yes,
McCord
it is
isn't
better.
bad. McCord isn't bad when he's back there and he has time to make his decisions. I think he will just have a little less time this week than he has had. I think Notre Dame did a great job with holding on, holding them to
I don't think he's particularly
14 points.
But we'll see how
Yeah.
he continues. It's only what?
So we're all on
What,
PSU.
his 7th start.
Well, so this is where I'm at. I had Penn State in the playoff preseason. So I have to take the points here. If Ohio State wins, I think it's going to be by 2 touchdowns at least. If Penn State wins, look, it'll be the first. It won't be easy. The thing is here, what is Penn State?
We're gonna find
We have
out.
we have no idea.
Fight wise, you're saying.
No, we don't know what they are. Like what are there's
No, yeah, there's not much to glean. I mean,
there's 6 games through the season, and we have no clue who they are.
but we knew that going into the season. So
I know, but
there's literally nothing. There's no reason why Can wouldn't pick Ohio State, Penn State. Why I wouldn't pick Ohio State to get my 11-1 triple Indy, and like if so, the only way I would get off of that is if Penn State loses by 3 touchdowns or something like that. Like, all right, that's tough for them to come back and beat Michigan on that one data point.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be, yeah, like I said, the way they lost in 2017 is baffling. Just to have the head start and as good as I thought that team was, to not be able to hold on. But
well, that was the.
I'm not intentionally harping on that. I'm just reiterating the point.
That was 100% a depth issue, and it's. I think the shoe's on the other foot this year. I think Penn State's got the depth.
So
perhaps,
we'll see what happens. I was looking at the weather, high 50s.
Yeah, perfect weather. Perfect
50,
Big Ten football weather.
Maybe some rain.
Really? Damn it.
Maybe. It said 38% when I just checked. So
A dreary, cloudy Ohio day. What more could you want?
We are waiting your.
Oh, there's some. I want to see. I want to see that the Long Boys can get going.
How to get it in.
I don't love Penn State's running game.
Yeah, but you don't love Ohio State's running game either.
No, I definitely don't. No, I like a rock fight overall for sure. McCord has been getting better for sure. Aller, I think he has it in him, and Yurcich, like we thought, is scheming him great games. But what is he on the road? And save me your Illinois. Save me your Illinois in whatever road game there was. This is a road game.
Northwestern, Illinois, and Northwestern were the
Yeah.
two games.
And
you really wouldn't want to point to either of those anyways. Empirical evidence.
And how'd that Northwestern first half go? Aller he was missing easy throws.
He was.
The
it
old man
wasn't
was
the crowd
going for
though.
Delhomme.
It wasn't the crowd, but
Hey, sometimes some would contend it's harder to play in the crowd like Ryan Field than at Ohio State.
I'm saying he's not like this Penn State team's not playing at Beaver Stadium.
No,
I think it's going to be a big difference for them. I also don't think Ohio State is really even that good. Which I said beginning of the year, they're going to have 3 losses. So I'm just trying to stay true to things here, and nothing's really swayed me there. Yeah, I just can't get over the. I mean, I like Dan was saying, I know we knew Penn State wouldn't play anybody, but I thought it'd be a little better than this. These passing teams they've played have been nothing. Come on, it's nothing. Who's the best one? West Virginia?
Yeah, West Virginia.
Come on, it's complete acid test here. What's going to happen? I have no idea. I could see this game being Ohio State by 17, Penn State by 9.
I would be surprised by that. By the Ohio State by 17, I would be surprised by that.
That wouldn't shock me.
They're just not going to let and you say that, Ken, to push back a little bit on the 0-2 Ohio State. I was just taking a peek back at some of their results. I don't think it's that high. I don't think it's that much different. So I walk back forward from my walk back. So sorry, AY, we got to get to
Net zero.
I'm thinking Penn State covers.
Okay.
I don't know who wins.
Come on, even I gave a pick on the game. I can't.
Look, I put Penn State in the playoffs. So is Jimmy gonna get off the schneid in a big spot here?
He's due. He's due.
True.
And I do hate when people bring up, oh, he's 0-9 on the road against top 10 teams. Yeah, well, you know what? Usually most teams are. This is not an easy spot to win.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Who's the
I
only
know.
one? Is Saban like the only one? Saban and Day and Meyer maybe only ones on the road at top 10
maybe
teams?
like Dabber.
Dabs.
I don't know, but yeah.
Dabs.
Penn State covers, but I'm gonna flip flop here. I think Ohio State wins.
The HP, just like Dan.
That was a
Yeah.
lot. Oh,
I
yeah, I don't know
just-
how you lay 4.5 points in this game.
You don't do that. I just again what you were saying, Dan. Like we knew it was gonna happen, but I guess I wasn't prepared for not really knowing this little about Penn State. The paper looks great. Don't get me wrong. Chop to Kellen to Abdul Carter, Olu, Holy Fash in between the Long Boys.
And I would be much more inclined to pick Penn State in the event that I feel like nobody's really down on the LR, right?
Mm.
Is
Well, nobody's
anybody
up
down
on
on the LR?
No, nobody's
Yeah,
down.
I feel like it's just neutral on the LR. If he was, I should say that the first couple of drives against West Virginia, I feel like people were loving it, but
Yeah, he hasn't gotten over 300 yards.
But if he were torching, if he were on like a Penix, even Penix light
sure.
campaign, I would pick Penn State.
If Penn State had any semblance of explosiveness to you'd think Penn State is they'd probably be up at like number 2 or number 3 up there with Ohio
because
State.
All other things constant. I don't know. I think you raise a valid point about the depth. We'll see, obviously. But in terms of passing Ohio State, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And I think the only way you pass is with the quarterback. I think, well, not the only way. A lot of the time, that's how you pass up a team that you're even within striking distance talent-wise.
Right.
And
so that's kind of the formula I've gone and felt for a number of years now, since probably going back to 2017 with Penn State.
I guess to wrap up mine, just to clarify, and this will help Don out too. Do you cover college basketball? No, we don't, but
we do the tournament. Yeah, we get clear
the tournament, which is awesome, and then the slow draft starts next week. But I do spend a lot of my time on Bart Torvik and Ken Pom, and this is getting into the Penn States. I do look at numbers and models and ratings a lot, which is different in football to baseball to basketball, which I get that. But I do get stuck in the numbers and the spreadsheets. And Penn State is 10, 11, I think, consensus and the stuff I look at. But I think it's so hard to adjust for schedule efficiency. If Penn State were to win this game, I would feel very comfortable putting them top 3. Absolutely. I just don't think it's there yet, but hey, it's all right there for them. Win this game and the old hat tip for sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the underlying numbers don't love them. They don't love Ohio State either.
No.
But
the good news is
numbers on a
which
screen.
I would to get up on my soapbox about the college football postseason structure. I would take having a freebie here, whether it's against Ohio State or Michigan, and playing in the Orange Bowl to advance. as opposed to this game feeling like, oh my gosh, like you said, game of the year, regular season game of the year. It could be. It could ultimately end up being that, but I feel like, and to go off, I didn't elaborate enough on the Oregon-Washington is why I would say that, because I feel like with a team that kept their O out of that game is so much more valuable. I made part of the point I was trying to make, because they're more likely to lose down the road. Whereas, like I said about the high floor with Ohio State, Michigan, I can see them frozen. It's hilarious.
No, you're good.
With Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. Whereas, like, I would be stunned if the worst outcome for any of those three teams is they get swept by the other two.
Right.
Meaning they lose somewhere else and get swept by the other two. So
that's
I don't know. And I have my, of course, Ken, we discussed it multiple times. I think the year to strike is next year with the Alar getting a year under his belt of starting experience.
Yeah, but they
have that going for me in this.
They way too.
But
many.
I would, if you, like I said, if you were torching, then I would pick them to win based on what I've seen Ohio State this week or this year rather.
Right.
Still probably have enough to do it though.
They've been saving it up for this game.
As for
hope for your sake, I hope so. For my sake, being in the living room of someone who'll be rooting for Ohio State Saturday, I'm kind of indifferent because I don't really like either team. So I don't like them whatsoever.
Yeah. You're not a fan either. You're not a fan either.
Of neither team, no.
A hard-earned money pick? Well, guess what? We're coming to locks in a second.
That's right. Oh, what a segue. Did we clear the rest of the backlog? AY answered about basketball. K-State we already covered.
The UCF play. He was asking about UCF plus 20.
I would take UCF in that.
I'd take it.
We already talked about Oklahoma last week.
Yep.
Potentially, wouldn't that be hilarious if Gus pulled that one out?
Oh man,
after getting the giant lead against Baylor stolen from him.
Yeah.
And we don't know about Will Howard either. As he said what did he say? Or is he going to put in the freshman who can't throw? That hasn't held Kansas State back in games.
No, I mean
prior years.
He we talked about Avery Johnson. He's scored 5 touchdowns. He could be an upgrade. He's former, blue chip recruit. I will jump into my picks just in case you guys take it because this was very hard to come up with for me. But I think I'm going to take the Pitman here.
Penn State?
No, not Penn State. The Pitman. The Pitman here, -6. He's desperate, and they played well. Both these teams are desperate, though. And so
they have enough in the tank.
I will take him at home. KJ Jefferson. I think they played well enough to win the last couple of weeks and just haven't had the luck. So I'm taking the Pitman here. Arkansas -6 against Arnett, who may get fired this year. Honestly, his buyout is like $4 million or something like that. And then it goes down even more. I was listening to somebody, I forget who it was. It goes down even more if he lands like a high-paying coordinator job or something like that. So it's like essentially nothing for Mississippi State to get rid of him.
Sweet deal. I will go with one last time for the Gipper. I think either way. I'm going with Minnesota against Iowa. +3.5. I did it a couple weeks ago. I didn't feel terrible about the pick.
You're kidding me. You know where I'm going.
Oh, I was thinking -3.5.
Are you going to Iowa?
I'm going Iowa.
I was thinking Iowa.
Wow. So AY's unbeaten streak. I am going to try and slay the dragon unintentionally.
I got a text from Baxi today. He's going to the Chiefs game this weekend.
Nice.
He grew up with Veach, the GM. So he just goes out there to the games, whatever. He goes, they don't have betting in Missouri, so I need your lock this week. I was like, I'm looking at him. I was like, maybe Missouri, Tigers, maybe I said somebody else. And I go, you know what? Let's go Iowa. Minute
We
what?
need farmers.
I
Yeah, we
mean,
need farmers.
are we going head to head?
I
second-
got to do it. I have my own crusade to deal with here. I would say I thought about Burt, but that's just too. I don't like. Essentially, I didn't base it on Iowa losing their quarterback a couple weeks ago, but that was I know why the line kind of raised some eyebrows.
Right.
So I don't want to make that. I didn't want to make that mistake again. But for the sake of the streak, only because you're undefeated, I got something else jotted down here.
No, I think you have to go against me. That way,
No.
it'd be
not
fitting
to
if it went
mention.
down that way.
No, I got something else here. It was just not one of my top two. What did I write down here?
What do you think of that game?
On the
Ken?
fly.
You like Minnesota or Iowa?
I'm thinking Iowa. Penn State strength of schedule.
What's the score? What's the score in the New Mexico State game right now? Just kidding. I will go with Okron. So there, Don play. I answered your question about the Maction. I give me Okron plus 7.5 against Bowling Green on the road. I do not know why. The Basilak and Co. with their wins, I think they've won 2 in a row over Georgia Tech and who was the other one?
I mean, Mexico State.
They lost to Miami of Ohio after losing to beat Georgia Tech. Then they beat Buffalo last week. So I'm going, give me Okron and that's plus 7.5. And that's Akron for the uninitiated. What was that quarterback's name we were dying at?
You switched it then. You said you switched it?
I'm switching. Yeah, I'm switching.
Okay.
Undercuff. Yeah, I had to get Jeff Undercuffler Jr. into the mix somehow.
Okay, so you're Okron. What is it?
Plus 7.5. And they are at Bowling Green.
They're what? 1-7?
Yeah, 1-6 actually. Still have a chance to drive for 6. We'll see what they can.
Bowling Green's pretty bad.
The Basilak, Fade Bays.
Well, I
Despite
can't
that,
We do have the transitive win over Miami.
with that, Georgia Tech win.
We almost had our second head-to-head battle.
I also like to point out how Don. I like to point out how Don likes to point out which word he typoed in the chat. I appreciate that.
It's helpful, yeah.
Well, I should have talked less about Pitt Louisville because there really wasn't much that needed to be said.
It's all right. There we have it. Big game preview. Game of the year, perhaps. Preview.
Perhaps, yes. Yes. So I would
Perhaps.
change that to perhaps, Ken. I still like your Michigan Penn State 1-2
Oh, yeah. Pushing the
prognostication.
pillars. Pushing those pillars.
Not many though. Not many.
Not
2.
many. Not as many as you would think. All right. I think that's all we got, right?
Yeah, I was just watching that pitch from Scherzer. But yeah, I'm good. Yeah, we will. It is Wednesday night. We will see you guys next week. Ken will be back. Big weekend upon
Big
us.
weekend.
Big
Excited.
weekend. And next week we preview Notre Dame, Pitt. So
Oh God, that's right. Yeah.
Another weekend of 2 Holy Tri games.
Yeah.
Not looking forward to that one.
we'll see. For me, away from the Blue State, the Blue State, the Commonwealth, Pennsylvania, to my west, Deberg,
Good night, all.
and to my east, far east, Ken.
Far East for now. Have a great night or day if you are in my time zone.
It's true.
This is where we need a Bebo to pop out and say, "We are."
Enjoy the race courses out there. I know they love their horses. Looks comfy. The Astros put another one on the board. Safe travels home, and we will talk to you guys next week. Let's cash this weekend, Don. Thanks for listening and have a good one.
Yep.